In this video, we will talk about a beginner's guide to Bitcoin's Lightning Network. So make sure to watch the full video. Hi guys, welcome to a new video from Cryptoverse. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel. What is the Lightning Network? The Lightning Network is a network that sits on top of a blockchain to facilitate fast peer-to-peer transactions. It's not exclusive to Bitcoin. Other cryptocurrencies such as Litecoin have integrated it. You might be wondering what we mean by sits on top of a blockchain. The Lightning Network is what's called an off-chain or Layer 2 solution. It allows individuals to transact without having to record every transaction on the blockchain. The Lightning Network is separate from the Bitcoin network. It has its own nodes and software, but it nonetheless communicates with the main chain. To enter or exit the Lightning Network, you need to create special transactions on the blockchain. What you're actually doing with your first transaction is building a sort of smart contract with another user. We'll get into the details shortly. For now, just think of the smart contract holding a private ledger with the other user. You can write many transactions to this ledger. They're only visible to you and your counterparty, but neither of you can cheat due to some peculiar features of the setup. This mini-ledger is called a channel. Say Alice and Bob put 5 BTC each into the smart contract. In their channel, they'd now both have a balance of 5 BTC. Alice could then write to the ledger pay 1 BTC to Bob. Now, Bob has 6 BTC on his side, and Alice has 4. Then, Bob could send 2 BTC back to Alice at a later date, updating the balances to 6 BTC on Alice's side and 4 BTC on Bob's. They can continue to do this for a while. Why is the Lightning Network necessary? So far, the Lightning Network, or simply LN, appears to be the most sensible approach to scaling the Bitcoin blockchain. Coordinating changes in such a vast ecosystem is tricky. There's a risk of hard forks and potentially catastrophic bugs. With so much value at stake, experimentation is incredibly dangerous. When you move that experimentation away from the blockchain, you have a lot more flexibility. If something goes wrong, it'll have no impact on the actual Bitcoin network. Layer 2 solutions don't undermine any of the security assumptions that have kept the protocol going for 10+ years. There's no obligation to switch from the old way of doing things either. On-chain transactions continue to work as normal for the end user, but they now have the option of transacting off-chain too. There are several benefits to using the Lightning Network. We'll look at some of the main ones below. Scalability. Bitcoin blocks are created approximately every 10 minutes and can only hold so many transactions. Block space is a scarce resource, so you must bid against other users to have yours included in a timely manner. Miners care, first and foremost, about getting paid, so they'll include transactions with higher fees first. When there aren't many users trying to send funds at the same time, this isn't really an issue. You can set a low fee and you're likely to have the transaction included in the next block. But when everyone's broadcasting transactions at the same time, the average fee can rise significantly. On a few occasions, it has exceeded $5 at the height of the 2017 bull market. It exceeded $50. That might seem insignificant for transactions moving thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin, but for smaller payments, it's not sustainable. Who wants to pay for a $3 coffee with a $5 fee attached? With the Lightning Network, you still pay 2 fees. One to open your channel and another to close it. But yourself and your counterparty can make thousands of transactions for free once the channel is open. Once you're finished, you just need to publish the final state to the blockchain. Micropayments. There's a minimum amount of Bitcoin you can send in a transaction, approximately 0.0000546 BTC. At the time of writing, that's equal to about 4 cents. It's a small amount, but the Lightning Network allows you to push the limits to transact the smallest unit currently available, 0.0000001 BTC or 1 Satoshi. Lightning is a lot more appealing for micropayments. The fees on regular transactions make it impractical to send tiny amounts on the main chain. Within a channel, however, you're free to send a fraction of a Bitcoin for free. Micropayments are suited to plenty of use cases. Some speculate that they could be a viable replacement for subscription-based models, where users instead pay tiny amounts each time they use a service. Privacy. A secondary benefit of the Lightning Network is that it can offer users a high degree of confidentiality. Parties do not need to make their channels known to the broader network. While you may be able to look at the blockchain and say this transaction opened a channel, you won't necessarily be able to tell what's going on inside it. If the participants choose to make their channel private, only they will know what transactions are taking place. If Alice has a channel with Bob and Bob has a channel with Carol, Alice and Carol can send payments to each other via Bob. If Dan is connected to Carol, Alice can send payments to him. You can imagine this expanding into a sprawling network of interconnected payment channels. In such a setup, you couldn't be sure who Alice has sent funds to once the channel is closed. How does the Lightning Network work? We've explained how the Lightning Network relies on channels between nodes at a high level. Let's now take a look under the hood. Multi-signature addresses. A multi-signature or multisig address is one that multiple private keys can spend from. When creating one, you specify how many private keys can spend the funds and how many of those keys are required to sign a transaction. For instance, a 1 of 5 scheme means that 5 keys can produce a valid signature and that only one is needed. A 2 of 3 scheme would indicate that out of the 3 possible keys, any 2 are required to spend the funds. To initialize a Lightning channel, the participants lock up funds in a 2 of 2 scheme. There are only 2 private keys capable of signing, and both are needed to move coins. Let's bring back our friends Alice and Bob at this point. They'll be making a lot of payments to each other in the coming months, so they decide to open a Lightning Network channel. This starts with both of them depositing, say, 3 BTC each into the jointly owned multisig address. It's worth reiterating that Bob can't move funds out of the address without Alice agreeing, or vice versa. Timelock Contracts, HTLCs. The system above is boring and doesn't offer much over today's trusted setups. It gets a lot more interesting when we introduce a mechanism that enforces the contract between Alice and Bob. If one of the parties decides not to play by the rules, then the other one still has a remedy to get their funds out of the channel. That mechanism is a Timelock Contract, or HTLC. The term may sound daunting, but it's actually quite a straightforward concept to grasp. It marries 2 other technologies, hash locks and time locks, to remedy any uncooperative behavior in payment channels. A hash lock is a condition placed on a transaction dictating that you can only spend funds by proving that you know a secret. The sender hashes a piece of data and includes the hash in the transaction to the receiver. The only way that the receiver can spend it is if they provide the original data, the secret that matches the hash, and the only way they can provide that data is if the sender gives it to them. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.